published by 2K Games and developed by Hangar 13. I think they have done an amazing job of remaking Mafia Definitive Edition from the ground up. It was a fantastic game, so I heard, in 2002, but I didn't play it sadly. I rented it from Blockbusters. I only played a little bit at the beginning, so I can't remember too much about that at all. But, like I said, it looked really good at the time. Even the gameplay for 2002, the graphics as well for 2002, it was nothing like any open world RPG free roam sort of game out there. I think at the time I was reading about Grand Theft Auto 3 that was out, and it's just pretty crazy really how technology has evolved. So as the game modes go, you don't have much of a selection. There is only campaign mode and free roam, both separated from each other. I don't know if it was like that in the original game, but I did actually prefer it that way. That way there was no time wasting while I was doing the campaign, and I didn't have the chance to break immersion from the story, as you were just one mission to the next, and even the cutscenes as well throughout that were fantastic. I did play through free roam for around about half an hour or so. Managed to find a few of the collectibles that were scattered around the map, but other than that there's nothing really to do. Just gets a bit boring after driving around for 5-10 minutes or so. There is no PvP or cooperative campaign, so if that's what anyone is into, then this will not be the game for you. In terms of platforms, I did play the game on PlayStation 4 Pro, but it's also available on PC, Xbox, and Nintendo. Perhaps next time. For the setting, the game takes place in early 1930s in a fictional city called Lost Heaven, which is inspired by Chicago. Now, the vehicles for the time period go really well, with a nice 1930s, 1940s look to them, with also a nice selection of different vehicles, which include your cars of course, your trams, your taxis, your emergency services, even motorbikes, which apparently they did not have that in the original. All the vehicles drive very realistically as well. I did struggle with the turning, but I don't drive in real life, and I imagined that driving a car will not be that simple anyway, so yeah, it gave me a bit of realism into it, and when I kept playing the game further on, you just get more used to the driving mechanics. The cars also looked very realistic, very nice colours to them, and the sounds of the engines and crashing the cars was just uncanny from realism. As the way of Lost Heaven goes, it was very, very highly detailed as a city. Just made you believe that you were there, you were in that city driving around. The map size as well, it wasn't too big, nothing too crazy, and it had its different sections as well, countryside, your suburban areas and your industrial areas. Which also felt the map was not too cluttered with a bunch of pointless things. But overall, the developers have done very well with creating this beautiful world.
Be okay! Move it! Come on!
Where to?
Anywhere. Fast!
Moving on to the story. Now, we play as Tommy Angelo, an American cab driver, 30-something-year-old. Seems more like a cab driver than any form of gangster, anything like that. But he's a really, really likeable character. He just seems believable. Oh, here we go. This is where you could see a good bit of Susan. We'll get back to you later on. Now he gets caught in the mob after we start off the game with a little bit of cab fares and things like that. Mundane, if you'd like to call it. I quite enjoyed it myself, actually. I'm not going to call it mundane, but it doesn't really waste any time getting you straight into the mob. Like, I wish I could hear a bit more of the backstory, how Tommy's life was with his family as a cab driver, a taxi driver, wherever you're from, than before he joined the mob, which it just seemed a little bit rushed, and it was probably the same for the original. I wouldn't know. maybe that was what they were going for. For me, it's what I wanted. I would have wanted a bit more backstory. Would have been preferred. The campaign really, before every mission, it consists of Tommy speaking to Detective. I'm a detective, Verone. Detective Howard, the Irishman he is. Just pretty much telling him through his experiences in the mob, almost as if he is ratting out his brothers, if that's what they're refer to that. But they are a family, so yeah, let's go with brothers. Yeah, pretty much ratting them out, which I'm not going to give any spoilers away through the story at all. The characters themselves. Now, there was so many characters. Like, when I first started playing the game, I was like, who's who? You're introduced to a lot of characters real quick. But I'd imagine that would be really what it would be like if you join in a new place of work or something else. You know, you're meeting a lot of new people, and you're not going to get their names and their faces and all that to begin with. So it just brings me on to say how real the characters seemed and how much time spent developing these characters, the voices that goes with them. Not all of them, but I would say the vast majority of characters in the game, they're just so real. You find yourself liking the characters and rooting for the characters, even though they're gangsters. You know that they're not good people, no matter what you see them do or anything like that. There's one guy who I just say I loved the guy. Really, he was hilarious. And he was just so believable as a character because he was one of those, like the odd one out. And yeah, again, no spoilers, won't even say his name. You'll see him when you get to him, but he was just stupid. He done things without thinking, and the other mobsters, the gangsters, your brothers that you were with, they called him out on it. They took the mickey out of him. It seemed as if they had no time for the guy, but they were still very, very loyal to him, no matter where the story goes. The campaign itself, you'll get your money's worth, I would say, out of it. I did, especially. I was just playing the game, loving every second of it, which we'll get onto in the gameplay. But it took me around 14 hours to complete, and yeah, I wasn't doing too much time looking for trophies, looking for collectibles and things. I felt that I was in a world of my own, and this was without the R.
They gotta be upstairs. The safe's in his study.
Now we will take a look at the gameplay. First of all, what I'm going to talk about is the driving in this game now. The controls, as I mentioned before, for the driving were not very difficult. They were quite difficult to get used to begin with, but as you play further into the game, you get more used to it through manoeuvring around the streets. The graphics were fantastic while driving around. The reflections of the puddles, the windows was just amazing. I couldn't believe my eyes playing the game. The weather as well, included in the graphics. The weather was your average sort of weather, I would say, until that first experienced nighttime in the game. I was shocked. I loved it. It was amazing. But that's nothing on the rain. Probably the best rain graphics in any console game that I've ever seen to date. It was just so realistic, absolutely realistic. I couldn't fault it, not at all. But the driving combat, on the other hand, when you get yourself into different car chases and so on, there was nothing really special when it came down to that. There's a ram feature that I just didn't see any point in it being in the game. I didn't really use it. And also, when you come to a waypoint in a mission, you get a random cutscene where it pretty much just does the driving for you. I didn't really like that too much, but I didn't come across too many parts that were like that anyway, so it's not terrible, but for 2020 I kind of expected driving combat to be a little more fun, especially in car chases in a Mafia game. As for the gunplay, it's really your average third-person cover shooter game like many other third-persons out there. The cover system was good, but it was sometimes clunky. Whenever someone's away to throw a Molotov at you and you need to run to a different location in quick succession, you feel a little super glued to the wall for just a small moment in time. It's nothing game breaking really. The way the guns go, I wish they had just a few more different weapons, just to expand the selection really, but I don't like it when there's too many guns some could say I'm a bit too fussy, but the really hard was just your magnum pistol, service revolver, your pistol, another handgun, 2 shotgun versions, bolt action rifle with a sniper variant I only came across once or twice in the game, and your good old 1900s Tommy gun. Nice and gangster, keep it authentic, I like that. Melee combat, there's not too much to say. You're introduced near the beginning of the story to some of the melee combat, and it's just a matter of button bashing, countering, and whenever you counter, you'll have a sudden takedown animation, which I didn't come across a diverse range of takedown animations, but at the same time, it's not really where the developers should have their focus on, and it appears it didn't, but I still like a few brutal things while I'm playing my game, and a few things to just kind of make me go wow. But the combat in total, I just feel it didn't have that effect on me. Now moving on to my favourite topic, the bugs and issues. And now sadly there wasn't actually many to laugh at for me. There was a few minor frame drops. I noticed when I'm driving as well, a lot of the grass loading in the background breaks a little bit of immersion, but it's not enough to put you off the game. At the start of a chapter I did have to restart my game due to the audio completely not working, and I only had one hard crash, but same again, it's nothing too off-putting for the game. I also noticed a few character pathing issues. It wasn't horrific, and really I just laughed at it when it happened, but it's still not off-putting. But what was off-putting though was, as you can see in this specific mission here, there was copy and pasted characters. You remember Susan from earlier? There she is again, holding a nice bottle, drinking with the lads. There's Susan's sitting down, Susan's standing there, here, there, oh another Susan, everywhere. I'm pretty sure this is another one, yeah. Susan has married to a certain amount of men. Can't really see her face, but I'm quite certain that she's Susan as well, yeah. Dubber Susan. Susan is everywhere. Quite ridiculous really for a 2020 game, you wouldn't expect. Also yeah, bringing me to another character remodel is, in this mission here, you're told to kill this antagonist, but the guy that was in the kitchen who I shot, I actually thought that was the antagonist. And then it led to a cutscene and he had drove away, and I was saying to myself that no, I just killed him. So that was really their most off-putting bugs.
Get cover! Getting a clear shot. I'm on him!
And now to wrap up the video. So, I thoroughly enjoyed playing this game. I think I would probably play it again, the campaign. It's really what it's about. The game is really what it's got going for it is the campaign. So if you are a big fan of engaging stories, then this is a must-buy for you. I'd completely recommend it. The gameplay was fine. There was nothing revolutionary. Things that stand out in the game, the graphics and the characters, I guess along with the story, made the complete game for me. It just felt like I was in a film. The AI, they were good, they were bad in a buggy way, also due to copy and pasting as I mentioned, but they reacted well to the impact of bullets and gunshots, depending on the strength of your weapon. If you shoot somebody with a pistol, it looks like they don't really feel it, but when you use the bolt action rifle though and you shoot them once, they're stuck there for about 5 seconds, which made me happy to know that I'm fighting against actual humans and just not bullet sponges. I would rate this game around 7 or 8 out of 10. Nothing amazing, but I had great fun playing this game.